Hey, Leslie.
Hi, Adele. How are you tonight or this morning, depending on where you're at?
Well, it's evening over here, and we're Eastern time, and you are Pacific.
I'm Pacific time. And
sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes, Arizona is really weird because we stay on the same time, no matter what daylight savings time. So sometimes Adele and I are 3 hours apart, and sometimes we're 2 hours apart. So it just depends, I don't know. I think it's harder to get used to this than it is like if everybody switches back and forth. But our special guest tonight is the next day in the morning. So where is she from? Let's find out.
Hi.
Hi,
how are you?
Nice to see you.
And hello from tomorrow.
Yes. Welcome from tomorrow. You are in our future. Yay, we love you being in our future. And Susie, tell us where you're from.
Well, I live in Tasmania, which is the smallest state in Australia. It's the little island off the bottom, often forgotten. Very important.
Yes. Well, we think it's important, and we think you're important, and we're so happy that you are here with us for this year's art connection. So it's going to be so great. Yes.
I'm excited.
Yes. So we thought that we would ask a little bit of questions, and then if people joining us want to make comments, go ahead and reach out. And if you guys would, we're streaming in different areas, so sometimes we can't see your name, so just tell us who you are and then ask your question, and we'll probably repeat this again later on as people drop in or so. So Susie, one of the things that we find really interesting for ourselves and also for our students is kind of like a little bit of your backstory, a little bit of your art history. I feel like it really, if we know a little bit of the story behind your work, then people can understand a little bit more about you.
Yeah, Susie, we love to ask our people that we interview a little bit of history, like Leslie said. And one of the things that I wanted to ask you is, what was the strongest influence you had when you were growing up?
Okay, well, like most people, probably the first strongest influence was my parents, but probably not in the way you might think. When I was growing up, the word bored was a very bad swear word, worse than a swear word. So the minute one of us, there were 5 of us, one of us said we were bored, my mother found us fairly awful jobs to do, like peeling potatoes or minding a baby or things like that. So we learned fairly early on never to use that word when she was in earshot. So we kept very busy so we wouldn't get these horrible jobs. So as a result, I've sort of got into the habit of just making things. But having said that, both my parents were quite creative. My father was a furniture maker and built boats and some lovely fine furniture. My mother dabbled in everything. I think she was a frustrated artist herself. But because she grew up in Europe in the Depression and during the war, she didn't have much opportunity. So once she moved to Australia with my father, she let rip. So that was up until I was about 16. When I was 16, I left home and went to art school, and then a whole new world opened to me of older art students, because I was actually the youngest person at the art school. I'd gone through school fairly quickly and off I went. And these older students, well, you learn a lot at art school from teachers, but you learn a whole lot more from people more your own age, and they were a big influence. So I'd say they're the 2 biggest influences on me growing up.
And so you were mentioning that, so your parents were a big influence on your life, and then going to art school at such a young age, that's really wonderful. And then when did you say that you started making your own art?
I had to think hard about this, and I can't pinpoint a time because I've always done it right from before I can remember. So I've actually always made things. So I can't really say I became an artist when I was 12 years old. I made these cloth clowns and I sold them for 25 shillings and sixpence, which was a lot of money when I was 12. That actually happened. But, you know, I'd been doing it for years before that, so I can't actually pinpoint that date. It's been as much a part of my being as breathing, I think. So just a whole part of who I am.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think a lot of the artists have that same feel, that it's just part of our DNA.
Yeah.
It's in us, and we just can't stop this creating all the time. And I was thinking also, Susie, why do you make your art? What drives you to make that art?
Well, the option of not doing it is just not on the radar. For the same reason, it's just part of who I am, and anyone who knows me know that if I haven't been able to make something for a day or two, I get very twitchy. I just have to do it. So it's a, well, maybe an obsession, at least a compulsion.
Yeah. I think, or like Adele was saying, it's like, it's just so a part of us that we can't imagine not doing it. You know, I mean, it's like breathing type of thing. And so we are going to probably have some beginning students with us and beginning artists. And do you have any advice you'd like to share with them, beginning artists?
Yes, I do. I think you need to absorb as much as you can about how to do things from people who are more experienced than you. That's sort of the technical aspect. But I think it's really important to, as soon as you can, start finding your own voice and your own expression. Just gathering in everything that you know from other people and just using it to express yourself in your own voice. I think that's probably the advice I'd give. Don't be afraid to ask people. I get questions all the time out of the blue from people all over the world, and I'm always very happy to share what I know.
Yeah, well, that's great advice, Susie. And I think that we do have a lot of beginners coming in, and that's great because that's what we want. We want to keep our creativity enriched with new ideas, new techniques, and I think that's fabulous. I think most artists like to share.
Yeah, I do too. I think it really helps sharing with others because it also helps define you as an artist, because you have to think about your answers, you know, that you're giving them. You know, definitely.
Yes. You can't assume that what you know is what someone else knows. You have to teach about them. Yeah.
Right, definitely. And we all, each one of us, all us artists, we have such a different way of doing things. It might be somewhat the same end process or product, but you know, the way that we take that path and the way that we get there is unique to each one of us. So yeah.
That is so
I like the part about you saying, you know, find your own voice. I think that's really important.
Yeah, absolutely.
So before we move forward to the next section, we have a couple of people on here. Sandy from Alaska. Hey, Sandy, we're glad you're here. Lori Mitchell. And some of these, I don't know who you are because I'm not seeing your name. Julie McDermott, I put her up here. She says,
Julie.
Yeah, she's excited about your class coming up. Glad you're here, Julie.
Yay, Julie, hi. And one thing that we said before, maybe some of you signed on, is we are streaming in different areas. So a lot of times we can't see your name. So if you're saying hi to us, if you would just tell us who you are, otherwise you're going to come up as Facebook user. And so.
Which is not a very interesting name.
I know. Yeah. So we like to know who's here with us watching. So yeah. And
Lori said it's much fun to hear us. Well, that's great. I'm glad you're here. it's always nice to see people come in and talk to us and stop by and say hi. Makes it that much more fun.
Yeah.
It's nice to know we're not talking to nobody.
Wait a minute, Susan, you're talking to us. Oh, this is fun.
So let's jump into the studio, and what we're trying to obtain from this part of the questions is just to get a personal feel about like how you work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Susie, I know that all of us love to be in our studios, but we always have those special tools that we like to play with and use, or we covet and we don't want anybody to touch them. What is your favorite tool?
Well, I had to have a long, hard think about this one too. And I think my most useful tool is actually in there, and then these, and my sketchbook, my current sketchbook. I've got a stack about 6 feet high of sketchbooks going back to art school days, because that's where the generation of ideas happens, from there through these into the sketchbook. So my tools come with me everywhere, but if you press me to the special tool thing, I'd have to say those silicon-tipped painting tools. I don't know what you call them there, but the ones I bought are called colour shapers. They have little flexible, pointy ends.
Oh yeah, the little rubber ones.
Yeah. Silicon, really flexible, and they're like having an extra thin, pointy finger, and they're just marvellous for sculpting when you want to get into tight places, and I don't think I could live without them. So everything else is pretty much improvised. You know, I don't have anything much special except those.
Yeah, and that probably that leads right into our next question, and you might have already answered it. Is there something that you can't live without in your studio?
Oh, okay. Well, look, I live alone, and I've got a whole house to myself, and I have one room in the house which I've designated as studio, but at the moment I can barely get in there. It needs a good clean. I've also got a summer studio that's a bungalow in the garden, and I'm not using it at the moment because it's the middle of winter. So actually the whole of the house is the studio, and probably when I'm working, I like to have music. So music's probably the thing I can't live without in my studio, which is my house, because I can be as messy as I want to be in the whole house. And the food's there, you know, and the drinks.
I'm a big music fan too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to have. And well, yeah, I like music also. I like to, depending on what I'm working on too. You know, we either keep it very calm or we do some rock and roll. It depends what we're doing here. So, Susie, what is the element that you like working with the most in your projects, and why?
Oh, okay. I really like the idea generation process. I really like working out the next thing I'm going to make. That involves sketching and possibly working out engineering problems sometimes, working out how things are going to go together, a whole lot of stuff. And it usually ends up with some kind of sketch or, you know, jotted down ideas, might be words, might be a few experiments. And after that, I love getting my hands in clay and making something, sculpting, making a tangible thing. So they're probably the two things that I like doing the best. Some of it's tedious. Some of it you have to do because, you know, sanding things down is tedious.
Yes.
I don't like doing that, but it has to be done, you know.
Right.
Yeah, I think we all have a certain process that we have to go through that we don't absolutely love, but we know we have to do it to get to the end.
Yeah.
So I think that's the case for a lot of us.
And with that, Susie, is there one part of the process that really speaks to you that's your favorite part of the process? Or several parts of it?
I like it. when something has come together and I'm almost finished and it's starting to really sing, and it's, you know, sometimes it doesn't work and you just throw it in the bin or put it aside or whatever. But when it's something that's really come together, you think, oh, you know, this is the best thing I've ever made. I'll never make anything as good as this again until next week.
Yeah.
You know? So, yes, I think it's that part of the process when the idea has become something concrete, something tangible that you can see and turn around and hold in your hand. And yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah, that is a good feeling. But you know, I'll often wonder, when do you know when you're finished?
Well, finishing is difficult. I mean, you can think something's finished, keep working on it, and you go past the point of finished and you start making it worse than it was. So I often stop something before I think I'm quite finished and put it aside for, you know, up to a week, and then come back to it and look at it very critically with fresh eyes. And sometimes, you know, something you didn't think of before becomes very obvious, and you can go ahead and finish it without ruining it. You can easily overwork something. You've probably both been there.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
I think it's a fairly common problem to know when to stop. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes. And so, you know, one of the things that a quote that I stick by is, an artist never finishes their work, they abandon it. And, you know, and I find that,
I like that. I'll have to steal that one.
Yes, you can steal it. And it's helped me many times, you know. It's just like, okay, I have to step away, because I feel like when you're working with it, you become so close to it that you don't even see it anymore. You know?
That's the problem. Yeah, you just become so engrossed that you can't look at it with critical eyes anymore.
Right, yeah.
That's
so
true.
we want to reach out to some people, and all of us being artists, sometimes we have like a creative block. What do you do when you have a creative block?
Look, I can honestly say I don't think I've ever had one, because I work in a whole lot of different areas. So if something's not working in one area, then I'll just go off and do something else for a while. So that's how I deal with anything that might be classed as a block.
Yes.
It's I've never experienced. Some people seem to go into a block for maybe 6 months or a year. I've never had anything like that happen to me. I can honestly say that. So I don't know really how to answer that question.
Yeah,
so.
that's fantastic. And I think in your answer, there is an answer, and that is to probably step away. You know, step away and do something else, and give yourself, like, kind of like what I was saying, is sometimes we get so close to it we can't see it anymore. And if you step away, then you can come back to it. So
I do a bit of writing, and I've got other things that I do. I paint, and I've got the garden. I bought this old house to fix up. That's kept me pretty occupied for the last 4 or 5 years. So there's always something else to divert to, you know.
Yep.
So it looks like we have a couple. Well, let's see. I'll put some of these up. We have Kitty Ann here.
Oh, Kitty Ann.
Yeah, hi, Kitty Ann.
She's my friend. I love her too.
Yes. Yeah.
We're also excited. Susie has joined us for this art connection. We're just going to have such a great time. And then we have, Linda's here.
Linda.
Hi, Linda. Yay.
Oh, Linda. Hello, Linda.
She's one of our other teachers.
She's in Western Australia. She must be just getting up.
She's
early.
She's probably sitting there having her first cup of coffee.
Yeah, I reckon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us, Linda. Thanks for getting up early.
Then we have, what kind of clay you suggest for your classes? So somebody's already checking out your classes, Susie.
Okay. Well, creative paper clay is a good one. You know, the one in the black packet that's very readily available in the US. I have more difficulty getting it here. But any of the air dry clays will do, anything that you like. One I've been using lately is one I get from Paddyco, and it's called Wood Formo, and it's got sawdust in it as well, and it's actually a really nice clay and very strong, and then it smells like wood.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, yeah. I haven't heard of that one before.
Yeah, it's a bit like something I used to make using sawdust and glue, but it doesn't have the same shrinkage problems. It's really quite good.
Right.
Wood Formo.
Now,
Great.
somebody else just came in. Let's see.
Oh, Anne. I know Anne.
Hi, Anne.
Yes, hello, Anne.
Glad you're here, Anne. Yay. That's so wonderful. I love it. I love that we have everybody here. It's so wonderful. Yeah, it's great. And so now we're going to jump into your art and your inspiration. And, you know, I feel like every artist is unique and an individual in their own art. And a lot of times there is, you know, something kind of nonverbal that we express in our art. And Adele, would you like to ask a question on that subject?
Yeah, I was wondering, is there something that you have designed that you absolutely have loved over something else?
Oh, okay, yes. It's usually the thing I've just made.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which lasts for about a week or two until the next one.
Right.
But I'm being a bit flippant, but occasionally I make something and I think, oh, might have to hang on to this for a while. That doesn't happen very often. It just does occasionally. And usually it's a piece that's, you know, how can I put this? It's a piece that's leading me in a new direction. So it's a something that's different, or you know, a divide. I'm getting tongue-tied here now.
Right.
Divergence from what I've been doing, you know, or something that has suggested a new direction. And I think, oh, I'll hang on to that for a while. I have occasionally hung on to something for a short while, but, you know, usually once I've made something, I'm happy to let it go, because for me, all the joy is in the making. I'm just like the process of making. And once I've made it, I take a photograph and off it goes.
Right. There's another thing that I read recently about art in itself, and art it's actually a two-way process, and it's, you know, us creating and giving, and then it's also the other part of it is somebody receiving it, and you need the giving and the receiving for it to be art, which I loved that whole concept, you know.
And you know, if you're a doll maker, that connection is really direct, because dolls are very tactile and they appeal viscerally.
Yeah.
Or they can do. Some people, they appeal in the wrong way. They hate them, you know. So, oh, it's great. But, you know, there's a really strong direct connection between the maker and the person observing or holding or whatever, receiving.
And I think that's one of something that I really love, because, you know, like you were saying, we put our own self into the piece, and it's so interesting to see how it's received, you know, from the other side, and like, what is their connection with it, which I find that whole process is really fascinating.
Yeah, me too.
And so what inspires you?
Okay, well, there are lots of things, really. I grew up in a fairly remote, wild place, so I've always been very attracted to remote, wild places, and I really like to get into them as often as I can, you know, mountains and wild beaches. Tasmania's got so much of that sort of stuff. I'm really spoiled. So that's a big inspiration, just getting into nature. And apart from that, you know, poetry, novels, I read a lot. Just the ideas of other people are, you know, very inspirational. And of course, I look at other people's art all the time and think, oh, that's nice. And can I steal a bit of that idea for something? No, I don't do that. But you
There's
know, you're always absorbing influences from
Yes.
wherever you can get it, and
Mhm.
the internet makes it wonderful because it's also instant, and
Yeah.
you know, you can think, oh, I want to look at da 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 da, and click, 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 you're there, looking at it straight away. It's wonderful. How
Yes.
did I live without it?
Yes, I agree.
That's
And
true.
we, you know, I love hearing about like where you find your inspiration. I find that so many artists reach to nature, you know, to find inspiration, and I think that's just something that's in us as humans, you know, just to connect to nature. And
It's a very basic human thing, isn't it, to crave that?
Yeah, you really do.
Especially if we live in cities, and you know.
Yeah. And so we are, like we were saying, we're so thrilled to have you with us. And we would love for you to share a little bit about you're actually teaching 2 classes with us. And if you wouldn't mind sharing a little bit what inspired each of your pieces for the Art Connection Summit this year.
Okay, well, the Wild Side Wall Doll class, I really wanted something that was not too difficult so that people who haven't got too much experience could happily take it on, but that was enough of a challenge that, you know, might push some people with a bit more experience to experiment a bit more. And I'm really hoping I get some wildly different interpretations. I'm really hoping for that. And, you know, once we get over the putting together part, they can just go crazy. Now the other one, the personal shrine class, that will be very student directed, because each one of them will have to come up with their own very different idea depending on how they think and what they want to use. And so that, once again, you know, there should be, I don't know how many people are going to be doing it, but there should be that many different interpretations of that. And I think my superpower as a teacher is to be able to help each different person realise their own vision. That's worked for me in the past. I'm hoping it works this time.
It will. It will. Yeah. We have total faith in you, and we're so excited to see what everybody comes up with. And I think that these 2 classes will be really wonderful for people to, you know, to step out of and into their own voice. And I think that, you know, they have you behind them to do that. And I think that is like such a gift to the students. So
hopefully.
Yes, it will be. It will be. Yeah.
Well, I know when the pieces came in, Susie, Leslie and I were just so amazed and so excited and proud that you were going to be teaching with us. And I know the piece that I was questioning, I asked Leslie, I said, this piece is amazing. It brought a lot of emotion, and I'm going to bring this one up. This is one of your classes you will be teaching.
Yeah.
I love that barcode that's going across that child's face. That's amazing. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Oh, I made that a couple of years ago, and I don't know. It's hard to put into words some things, because, you know, that's why I make things, because I can't actually put it into words. It's ineffable, you know. But I think it's saying something about commodification of people, you know. People are just consumers, commodities, targeted by marketing companies. That's what that's all about, really. That's why it looks a bit wistful, I think.
I love that concept, though, Susie. I mean, and it's a lot of times, like you were saying, is, you know, you can't verbally express it, but you can physically express it. And that does such a beautiful job of, you know, we get it without really able to, you know, say what it is. Yeah. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah, the pieces are just marvelous. And I hope that everybody takes off on this and creates their own personal shrine. With your guidance, I'm sure they'll come up with some really think.
They will.
Yeah,
And the
they will.
other one I love too.
Once they're set on the path, there's no stopping them.
Yes, it's going to be great. It's going to be so much fun to see what they create. Yeah, definitely.
They can walk on the wild side, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Good lead in, Adele. Good lead in.
You like that, huh?
Yeah.
I was saving that one. No. These are great. I love this piece. Love them both.
And Susie, can you tell us a little bit about these? And you can talk about these specifically, or even what you're hoping your students will achieve with this.
Well, the basic form of that is quite simple, and you know, I see it as a starting point for what they want to do. So, I mean, both those pieces have the same basic form. They're just finished differently. It really is the only difference. So, you know, it's really up to them. It's they can do something fairly simple, or they can go really crazy with it. It's, you know, completely up to them.
I love that. I love that. You're just giving them the freedom to just do what they want. And what a great opportunity, because how many times do we get the freedom just to, you know, express ourselves and to
But they will have a basic form that, you know, will exist, and then they can just take it where they want to, as simply or as complex, in as complex a way as they want.
Well, they're going to have a great time in your class. All the classes are fabulous. I think all of them are just going to be so much fun. Can't wait. We have a question here. Put it up.
Oh, I hope it's an easy one.
It is. It's an easy. You got this one.
Yeah.
Are the sculpting. Pieces are made from sculpting, and I will walk everybody through that. Oh, oops. Oh, what happened there? Anyway, so everyone, even novice sculptors, someone who hasn't done any of it,
we're having a little.
Are we right?
Yep, we're okay. We were having a little bit of technical internet issues, but I think we're okay.
Well, what's a live interview without it?
I know, without that. I mean, yeah.
So they're definitely sculpted, but even inexperienced or novice sculptors will have no trouble with guidance. So
yes,
don't be afraid.
Right. Well, and you know, that's one of the reasons that Susie is with us, is because we know that she's totally capable of leading all of you guys on this journey, and you will be able to accomplish something really, really wonderful.
Do you know what I've discovered, Leslie? I've done a lot of teaching over many, many years because I'm very old. And I have discovered that most people, you know, almost all people, take to sculpting quite naturally because they're dealing in three dimensions. They've got an object they're working on. When they try to draw something three-dimensional on a flat plane, that's 10 times more difficult, you know. So they often surprise themselves with how they really get it when they're actually working with, you know, 3 dimensions in their hand. That's it sort of was a bit of an eye-opener to me. I thought, oh, teaching sculpting, that's going to be very difficult. But no, it's much, you know, people just really get it.
Well, and I think by nature, you know, us as humans, we are very tactile, you know. I mean, we have opposing thumbs, and we've been using them for a long time, you know. And so I love that thought of, you know, we live in a 3-dimensional world, and we do everything so 3-dimensionally, and 2-dimensional can be a push, you know.
It's hard making something on a flat surface look 3-dimensional. You know,
right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely.
So let's see. I'm trying to see about. Question here. This is from. Okay. What clay do you use in class?
Well, you can use any air dry clay that you can get hold of. They're all, there's no particular one that I recommend, but creative paper clay, if you can get it, is a good standard basic one that's easy to use. Or La Doll, you can get that. Any of those.
Yeah, so I think like any air dry clay work really beautifully for this process. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And so one of the things that we love to talk about is, we're all artists here. And so, but a lot of our people out there like to hear about something that's a little bit different. So do you have any other interests besides, you have mentioned gardening, but anything else that is out there?
Yeah, well, I mentioned gardening. I bought this house 6 years ago, and the house and garden were both extremely neglected. So it's been a job of work to, start pulling it into shape, and it's not finished yet, but it's getting there. So that's an interest. I play a lot of music. I play in a concert band, and I play in an orchestra. And so that, I think I do 3 rehearsals a week most of the time. Wow. So I'm out doing that a lot. I play flute to quite a high level. I took up the violin not that long ago, so that's not quite so advanced, but I get by. So I do that. I like to read a lot. I read every day. I like baking. I try to limit that because I like eating what I bake too. So I like cooking generally, and life's good. There's something happening all the time. Even though I live alone, I've got lots of friends that I visit, have meals with, all that kind of stuff.
And that's one thing that Adele and I have talked about quite a bit is, being an artist, most artists don't mind being alone for like even long stretches of time, because we have so much going on in our head that we want to express, that it's, trying to keep up with that all the time.
Yeah, exactly. When we got locked down last year, I thought, oh, excellent. I can stay home. I don't have to go out anywhere. I can just make stuff. And I have a friend who's very gregarious, and she was going around the twist after a week or two. She's like, I need to see people. Help me. And I was the opposite. I was thinking, no people.
I know, right? And I even felt like, I don't think my life has changed that much. I don't know if that's good or bad, but I think I'm about the same life I had before.
Well, we do know of another activity that you like to do, Susie, and you did something for us that is special to commemorate. We're excited. Yeah. Susie created a special ACS paper doll for us, which is going to be given to everybody that signs up for a course and also for our summit. And it's adorable. It's so cute. It's so cute, ladies.
Yes.
Look at this.
Yeah, so she did it.
The grass doesn't grow under Adele's feet.
Yes.
I got that about 2 days ago.
I had to treat it very gingerly because I had to do it very quickly. And the first time I pulled on it, I lost an arm.
So you need to reinforce the holes.
Yeah,
what it was, I don't know. I was having paper difficulties with this.
But you guys, I have to tell you, Adele put this together like moments before we came online because she wanted to do it so badly so you guys could see it. So when you're creating it, you can do it a little bit more thoughtfully, maybe.
Yeah, mount it onto something substantial.
It's gorgeous, Adele. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Yes, you did really well.
That's a creative thing for today because I have been on the computer nonstop for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
thing.
So,
Um,
Susie, we have just one more question to ask you. Adele, would you like to address this?
Well, I was wondering, do you, besides all the interests that you do, what is your dream work that you at one point would like to do? Something
Okay, well, yeah,
totally
there are
different.
a couple of things. I'd really like to do some bronze casting, but it's,
Mm.
you need access to a foundry. So
Yeah.
there are foundries around, but it's a very technical process. I have done it before a long time ago, but I'd just love to get into a bit more of that. And the other thing is, I've always been really fascinated by puppets, and I'd love to make a puppet theatre and some puppets and do that acting thing where I don't actually have to show my face. So they're the two things I'd really like to
I love
do.
that.
You know?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Art
Yeah.
bucket list.
That's
And I
fun.
think one of the things about being an artist is, you do what you do and you know how to do that. And then you grow with that. But I feel like there's always like something like inkling in the back of your mind that if one day, I would like to do this also. So I love your idea of the puppets and I love the idea of bronze. Yeah.
Yeah. One day. I better not leave it too long.
Yeah. It'll happen. You'll do it. You'll do it.
You just have to put it out there. You'll get it.
Yeah. Yes. Definitely.
So we have a question here. Can the whole piece be made from? I guess she's talking about what you're going to be teaching, Susie.
Well. Oh, okay. That's tricky.
Yeah.
Probably not. But I don't know. I could be surprised.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that, but I suppose it could be. That's obviously from someone who doesn't like to sew even a little bit.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So I actually think that they probably could interpret both of those pieces. Because it is three-dimensional, and
it could be done. Yeah. Definitely.
So that could be the twist in the class,
Yes.
I mean, we're expecting twists, but maybe a little bit more. So that could be very interesting. Yeah.
They can always paint the clothes on, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, that could be do some dimensional. Well, look what you did with this puppet. That looks pretty dimensional to me. I mean,
right.
So they could do some painting on the clay there.
Yeah, absolutely.
The other thing I would like to mention to everybody is we are so excited that we have all the teachers in the summer issue, and there is so much information of all of our teachers in there. And make sure that you pick yourself up a copy because it is a special edition and gives you a little bit of insight on, all the teachers that are going to be teaching this year at Art Connection.
Well, and I think one of the things that I love about it is it steps beyond this class. The classes that you're seeing, you get to see the artist as a whole. And I think that is, and, we sent out questions. And so there's, it delves into them deeper as people, which I think that's such a fun thing because a lot of times when you take a class, you don't have the opportunity to really get to know the teacher because it's more instructional, so I love that we have that too. So yeah, definitely.
Well, it's just been a lot of fun having you, Susie, and to get to know you. And that's what the Art Connection is about, is us connecting with artists and getting to know more artists from around the world. And we've just had great opportunities to do that. And we're finding that more artists are reaching out from different parts of the world. In fact, we just had somebody from Argentina contact us, and we're just thrilled that we're seeing it really move out there.
Yeah. And I think that's what, when Adele and I got together and decided to do this, it was like 2019 when we conceptualized the whole thing. And really our our mission was to really share art with people and to, like she was saying, to make connection, with others. And so this year it's even coming, it's kind of like one of our wildest dreams, I mean, it's really happening, and it's just so, we love just the cohesiveness of the group and how people are reaching out. And I mean, you're in Australia, and Adele and I we're on the other sides of.
That's wonderful, isn't it? Yeah.
Isn't it great?
We all owe you a debt of gratitude for all your hard work. I mean, I don't know how you've done it, but it's wonderful, and it's such a great opportunity to be able to connect with people all over the world. I love it.
I know.
It's wonderful.
It's so wonderful. It's where we feel we love that we were able to put out an idea and it's happening. And and I think the thing is, like Adele and I talk about this quite a bit, it really is done from our heart, and that's
I can tell that.
Yeah, it's our
yeah.
It's our driving force, and that's what keeps us like we're like dogs on a bone, man. We're going to get this thing done.
You will.
Our problem is that we keep coming up with more ideas.
Yeah, I know.
No more ideas.
I know. Yeah, we're like, now we're putting them. We actually got it like out to 2023 already. So we're trying to like reel it in a little bit. We can't let's just this year.
It's the excitement. We're excited. The artists are excited. The students are excited. So it's just this big ball of excitement that keeps me going.
That's great. Yeah. It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And we're so glad that we're talking to you tomorrow. Because it is tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yes, the world hasn't ended. It's still here.
Fabulous. We can continue making art. That's great.
Yes. We know that
it's been a hoot. Thank you so much.
You guys, thank you, Susie. Thank you for taking the time and spending time with us out of your day. We appreciate it so much. And thank everybody for showing up to hear us, what we have to say, because we're artists. We just kind of like talk about everything and anything. So, Susie, thank you. And we are so excited to see what your students come up with in your class. We know that it's going to be really cool. It's going to be really fun. So, yes.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for being
Bye.
here.
Bye. Bye. Thank you.
Well, that was wonderful.
Oh my goodness. This year is just like, isn't it? It's like so cool. I mean, how it has grown even from last year, and just like, just the teachers and, and the presentations, you guys, the presentations that we have coming in this year they're phenomenal. I mean, and like I was saying, Adele and I are so heart driven with this. And I think, like attracts like. And so I feel like our whole group that we have together is just very mindful and heart driven also. So it's going to be, it's going to be really cool. Yeah.
It is going to be cool, Leslie. And I think also our community is really growing. And what's happening, we're seeing that the word is getting out, and those artists are inviting other artists to come in. And it's a great place. It's kind of, I always say it's kind of laid back, show your art, tell us who you are. There's no pressure,
Right.
So it's just it has a lot of great energy in there, and I like that. Yeah,
I totally agree. And it's like the word that you said was community, and it really is a community. And also that you said like no pressure, just come in and just enjoy it and share your art. No judgment, everybody is so kind and supportive in there. And I love that part of it. Yes.
Yeah, I do too, Leslie. And I know we're just gushing about all of this, but this is really how we feel. We really feel this way. And
We
so,
actually do. Yeah.
yeah. And during this period of time that we're trying to get everything in line for the upcoming summit, I mean, Leslie and I are on texting or on the phone or on whatever we have to communicate to get all of this going. And we have such a good time, and we can't wait. We cannot wait to open up everything and show you. And also keep coming back to the pages, because we're always updating it. We just added a couple of new things. So kind of go in there and look around and see what's happening. And we have got so many surprises for you. You do not want to miss anything.
Yes, I so agree with that. I mean, you know, it's 5 days, so you guys are going to have to be on it because there is so much really, really fantastic things in there. So, and the beautiful thing is, you know, we have these incredible classes, so you can take those. And then if you don't make art, we have the art box presentations, so you can still be deeply involved with this whole the summit this year. So, and I think we might be over 20 presentations right now. So there is so much for you guys to see. So we are so excited about it. Yeah.
And the bonus gifts. The bonus gifts are amazing. Okay. So,
well, you saw Susie's paper doll.
Oh, well, well, I have to show her again. So,
yeah.
And here she is. Okay, I'm going to add glitter on her tomorrow. I've decided.
Oh my goodness.
She's got to be blinged out. She's got to be ready.
We might have to have a paper doll challenge then, you know?
Yeah. Oh, well, it's been great fun, Leslie, but it's time for us to say goodnight.
Yes.
See you tomorrow.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. And you guys, thank each and every one of you for showing up and for, you know, you had great questions. We so love that you're here with us, and we are, well, you can already tell, we are so excited about this year. We're a little giddy. We're just so excited about it. We can't wait for you guys to see it. It's just, it's really incredible. So you guys, thank you so much for being with us. Adele, thank you for all your hard work.
And yours too, Leslie.
Absolutely.
Good thing we're working together and getting all of this done.
Yeah. Right. Thank you, guys. And remember, join the art community on Facebook. And then remember to check out the website, because it is rocking. And we will put those links in the comments. So if you are seeing this later on, you know, this will be recorded too, so you can come back and watch us again if you want to. So.
Yeah, that's true. And you can still, like let's say, you can still ask questions, put comments, and we'll be checking on that. And hopefully we will see you. We have more interviews coming. So
yes, we have a lot more interviews coming. So you guys, I think I posted in the days and the times for everybody to see. I'll repost them. You know, I'll repost them like every week so that you guys can keep track of what time. And then Adele also puts out the broadcast. So, you know, keep an eye out for those. So it shows you the link to watch it live and in person with us.
Okay.
All right, you guys.
Good evening.
Thank you.
Good morning. We'll see you later.
Yes,
Bye-bye.
bye-bye.